Welcome, everybody, to Transforming Recruitment with AI Agents. My name is John Schroeder. I'm the Managing Director of Custom Research at SIA, and thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you, John. I am really excited to be here today to talk to you guys about something that has completely changed the way we work. And that's how we're using AI at Malone to transform and optimize our staffing processes. Malone's been connecting top talent with great opportunities since 1971, and we work across multiple industries. I've seen a few questions about what industries use this. Well, we're using it currently in our commercial staffing mostly, but also healthcare. It works for that as well. We help our businesses build strong teams and grow. And to do that well, we know that we have to stay ahead of industry trends, constantly improve our processes, and create the best possible experience for both our candidates and our clients. And with over 50 years in the industry, we have seen a lot of technology come and go. With all of the rapidly changing technology sectors, AI has been absolutely the most transformative shift yet. And we recognize that adapting to it is essential in staying ahead in this business. We know that if we don't adapt and adopt AI into our processes, we'll be left behind. So we made a decision as a leadership team that we didn't want to be in that position. I've spent the majority of my career in staffing, and I'm always looking for ways to streamline a process, boost efficiencies, make the jobs of our recruiters a little bit easier every day. We always are looking at what the latest technology trends are. And for the last, 7 or so years, I've been at Malone overseeing the IT and operations department. And our focus is simply finding smarter and easier ways to get things done and to be as efficient as possible while providing our teams who are out in the field doing the hard jobs with the best tools that they can have. And what I can tell you today is that AI has been a complete game changer for us since we started adopting it. Ash mentioned earlier that AI isn't the future, it's happening now. And about 2 years ago, at one of our leadership meetings, we had about 40 or 50 people in the room. And I said, how many of you are using AI today? And maybe 2 to 3 people raised their hands. And then the next question I said is, how many of you have a smartphone? Does it have Siri on it? Does it have Google Voice on it? And every single hand raised. So my point with that was you're already using AI. Whether or not you realize it, you're using it daily. We see personalized recommendations pop up as we're scrolling social media, or we'll be having a conversation about a place we want to go eat lunch. And then all of a sudden I have an ad for that restaurant. That's AI working in the background. So why would we not use AI to enhance the way that we do staffing? For us, implementing AI into our workflow has been all about efficiency. It's about reducing those repetitive tasks, streamlining any processes that we can, and allowing our recruiters to focus on what really matters, which is building relationships with our clients and with our candidates. It's giving them time back in their day that they wouldn't have had a year or two ago to have those one-on-one conversations with a client or an employee. A couple of years ago, our leadership team met some of the Converse leaders at a conference, and right away I get an email, we need to look into this software. Let's look into it. We were immediately impressed with the technology, but I'll tell you, beyond the technology, it was the thoughtfulness of the technology and the thoughtfulness of the product that they were pushing out. It just really seemed to fit in well with our existing processes and how we work our business. And then after we demoed them, which we demoed a few different tools, it was obviously a need rather than a want for us. So once the decision was made to move forward with ConverzAI, I honestly was shocked at how smooth and seamless the implementation went. Our implementation team gave us the flexibility, mimicking what Rachel said. They gave us the flexibility to make real-time adjustments. They listened to our questions. They quickly pivoted to meet our expectations. They were patient during the onboarding process. We're also a small IT team here at our corporate office. We don't have a huge chunk of people able to work on this. So as we had questions and would get stuck on processes, they were so patient with us to figure out what would work best for us. And what I found is so often when you implement a software, you get super comfortable with your implementation team. And then once you're live, you go to the help desk. And that's not the situation here. We still have our weekly meetings where we talk about, hey, this doesn't seem to work the way we thought it was. Help us figure it out. Or we thought of this really cool idea we want to run by you. Can you guys do that? And, they'll meet with their internal teams and come back and make those changes for us. And that's just been a really incredible process. They seem to value our feedback and opinions. And implementing our virtual recruiter, it didn't only streamline our processes, but it also empowered our recruiters to focus on those higher value interactions, like talking directly to a customer or to a candidate, working with one of our employees on site who might be having an issue. It was just an obvious and strategic choice for us. So John, if you want to flip the slide, I have told you guys about how painless the implementation was, but what I want to show you is really how easy it is to set it up inside your ATS. So we are in Bullhorn. This is a screenshot of a fake job within our ATS. And what you'll see on the screen now is just how I turn on our virtual recruiter, whose name is Charlie. Rachel has a Jamie, we have a Charlie. And on the screen here, you can see I have a job pulled up, and in the little green box, it says assigned to. And so it's as simple as assigning that job to our virtual recruiter, who we have set up as an actual recruiter inside of the ATS. Our teams are trained to input the job strategically, so we want to ensure that our virtual recruiter has all the necessary information to be able to talk to those candidates and to understand the job and to ask the right questions. And so while this screen is only one example of that, we're actually running this process at scale across multiple jobs, branches, lines of business, and accounts within our company. One of the other things we love about the AI agent is just how quickly it will start working our jobs. So the moment I click assign to and add our VR Charlie to this and hit save, it starts working. So as soon as candidates are applying into that job, our virtual recruiter is reaching out to them within a couple of minutes. And honestly, the best way to see how this works is to try it yourself. That's what I tell my team. I say, go apply to a job that has it turned on and see how quickly this will happen for you. So once the applications start flowing in, it's just a really exciting time for those recruiters to buy into this product and to what we're trying to get them to do, which is focus on your relationships. I get asked a lot, how many candidates can the virtual recruiter talk to at a time? And if I have any Mean Girls fans out there, my answer is the limit does not exist, because it really doesn't. Charlie can talk to all of them all at once. If we had 2,000 people apply to a job at the same second, Charlie would reach out to all 2,000 of those people. And that there's no amount of manpower you can have in your office that would make up for that. So John, if you will switch to the next slide. So in real time, as Charlie is completing these interviews with our candidates, we get an email to the job owner on that specific job with a summary of the interview along with the score that lets us know how well the candidate fits the job. And that's truly based on our inputs, which is what we have listed on the job description, the pay rate, the location, that sort of thing. So not only do we get that email, but it's also logged in our ATS as a note. So you see the note on the candidate's profile and on the submission, the web submission for the candidate. And then on top of that, we have actually set up a really quick and easy search that our recruiters can run at any point by pulling up a candidate list. And here is the search parameters on the screen, what you're seeing. And it's simply just saying, I want to find candidates who have ConverzAI pending follow-up needed. So we have added in an action type of pending follow-up needed, and Converse will automatically write that into our ATS as they are talking to our candidates, and we need to take the next step. So we look at the author as being that recruiter, our VR Charlie, and then we look at interested and follow-up needed. And what's cool about that is interested means they've already screened them. They know they want this job. It's up to us now to then take that to the next step, bring them into our office for an interview, follow our typical process. The ones that say follow-up needed might have some additional questions, and we just need to call them to talk to them about it. So the virtual recruiter, again, is only going to be as good as the input that we have on the job. So if something's missing from there, it's a pretty quick way to figure out what's missing and call that candidate back. I've also saved this as a favorite search on our candidate list in Bullhorn so that my team doesn't even have to go in and recreate this every time they click a button, and it will automatically show them all of the candidates that they need to reach out to. I started as a recruiter in a branch many, many moons ago, and I could only have imagined something like this back then. Back in my day, we were doing Boolean searches and calling people from the white pages just to try to get people to talk to. To have something like this back then would have been a total game changer for us. And just this level of automation is helping us move at a pace that we've never been able to do with just manpower in our offices before. John, if you will switch to the next slide. So when we first rolled this out to the company, I had super high expectations. I had met with the Converse team multiple times over the course of about a year, had 1 trillion questions for them, and we just really made sure it was the right fit for us. But now that we're live, and we've been live about 4.5 months, we are seeing hugely insane, measurable impact to our company. So one of the biggest numbers that is, it's on here on the bottom left of the screen, is a 95% connection rate And I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't believe it when I saw that in our dashboard. I thought there is no way that this tool has talked to 95% of the candidates who applied. So I went in and I actually pulled the numbers myself manually, and it's true. So we have had about 8,000, a little under 8,000 candidates who were touched over the last 4.5 months. And again, there's no way with the manpower we have, we would have been able to do that. It's completely transformed how we reach and engage candidates. So in addition to that, you see the numbers on here of $2.3 million revenue impact. That's come up just a little bit since the screen was pulled. We are looking at 225 placements in just those first 3 months from candidates that Charlie has qualified for us. So again, we still take steps in that process to interview them face-to-face and onboard them into our system, but Charlie's taking out that initial pre-hire screening for us and saving us dozens of hours a week per branch that we have this turned on for. We're making more placements with fewer manual steps. It automates our tedious tasks and frees up the recruiters to focus on the relationships and making great matches. Our recruiter productivity and candidate engagement have drastically improved. Recruiters can now connect with more qualified candidates in less time. They're not having to go through and weed out people who just applied to apply or to, they might apply to 17 jobs at once. And if we don't call them first, they're going to go to the next job. Charlie has enabled us to be one of those first ones that calls them. So a couple of other things I wanted to talk about is just successful AI implementation is not just about a plug and play, turning on a tool. It's about integrating it into your workflows so that it enhances your product, your processes rather than disrupts them. So how we set our teams up for success, it truly starts with preparation. Before activating our virtual recruiter, I make sure that our teams fully understand what they're getting, what the product's going to do for them, how it's going to work for them, how it fits into their current workflow, and then what adjustments may be needed. So I actually schedule an intake call with each branch before I turn the virtual recruiter on for them. We look at the jobs that they're considering it for. We look at the job descriptions to understand, do you have the right inputs in there or keywords in there? Are we asking the right screener parts? Are we adding the right screeners into the requirement section of that job? We also provide them with an SOP of how the virtual recruiter is going to work for them so that they can refer back to it and don't have to necessarily call us each time they have a question. So one of the things that kept popping up is we have a lot of jobs in our system where we might advertise 3 shifts at once. So you're going to have a range of pay. And what we realized really quickly was those are not the best jobs to have turned on the virtual recruiter for because it's more generic. What AI needs is very black and white inputs and prompts. So we broke those into 3 separate job orders instead of just having one with all 3 shifts. And now we're getting a much better response rate and qualified candidates for those positions. So what we realized is just the more prepared our branch is, the more likely they are to embrace AI rather than to resist it. A couple of other things we've really focused on is AI is a tool. It's not a mandate. So we evaluate when and where it adds the most value. In one division, it may work really well for, and one it may not. So what I did before we rolled this out to our company is I actually had a meeting with our entire leadership team and introduced the idea of ConverzAI to them and asked for volunteers. Who wants to try this out? I paid for it from my corporate budget for the first trial part of it, just to get the buy-in from the branches because I knew it was a tool we needed, and I knew it was a tool that was going to take us to the next level. But I didn't want to ever force someone to have to use it. I wanted them to be excited to get to use it. So rolling it out as more of a value add option to our branches was really an excellent way to get buy-in from our teams. AI relies on clear, structured data to function effectively. So that's why we redefine our job descriptions and pay structures. We want it to be as accurate as possible. We check that the job location is right because it's going to get as granular as saying, hey, this job is located in the zip code. Can you get there every day? A great example of this was recently we were hiring a bunch of forklift operators for a peak season client. And the branch came to me and said, we're getting great forklift candidates, but it's failing on the score, all of our reach truck operators. And so I said, okay, well, do you have anywhere in the job description that a reach truck operator would be an efficient experience for this forklift role? And nowhere in the job description did it talk about reach truck operators. So there was no way for our virtual recruiter to infer that a reach truck operator could be a forklift operator in this situation. So once we actually made that change, updated the job description to include the reach truck keyword, we started getting immediately qualified reach truck operators, ranking a lot higher and higher in that process. So sometimes it's as simple as just tweaking a couple of keywords in your job description that to you make sense. It may not in this situation. It's only going to be as good as the data it's given. So the better our inputs are, the better our outputs will be. And then at the end of the day, AI isn't here to replace human decision making. Our recruiters are still empowered to make that decision whether or not to hire that candidate. AI is here to enhance that hiring process, to make it a little bit better so that we're receiving the qualified screened candidates. And then from there, we can take them where we need to take them with the roles we have open. Training and change management are critical on this. So again, I will not roll out the virtual recruiter to any branch that I haven't had a chance to sit and talk to about it first. I want them to understand the nuances and how it works. It's not always going to be plug and play. You do have to make adjustments and changes along the way. And just, it's important to work with a team who will go through that with you during your implementation. And helping recruiters feel comfortable with new technology is just as important as the technology itself. So we always try to make the time to answer their questions and to help them see the value add and not to be fearful of it. We're not going to take your jobs away. We really just truly want AI to make your job a little bit easier and a little bit better. And as we look forward to the next couple of years, we see AI becoming even more intuitive, faster, smarter, more personalized, from even more in-depth predictive hiring trends to stronger and faster automations. It's going to continue evolving, and we have to evolve with that to stay on top of it. So it's been a true game changer for us at Malone by integrating it thoughtfully into our workflows, rolling it out slowly to our branches and getting their buy-in. We've not only enhanced our efficiency, but also elevated the quality of our placements and our recruiter productivity. So as we continue optimizing and evolving.
Thank you so much for attending. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. And we all want to wish you the best in navigating this new and exciting world of AI agents.